All right, guys, Darren from FBA Elite, and welcome back to another video. So if you're starting Amazon FBA, there is a very good chance you're going to get stuck at the product research stage. You just won't be able to find your first product. And despite this amazing opportunity that is there, so many sellers get stuck at this stage. So in this video, I'm going to give you something that will help you with your product research and hopefully change the way you do product research forever. So over the past few days, I've been working on an updated version of my FBA Elite product research checklist. So I've released 2 versions of these over the past couple of years, and this is the latest version for you guys. And I've simplified it to make it as easy for you guys to use as possible, and also to understand all of the things that I'm talking about. And if you use this when you're doing your product research, I am certain it will help you make better choices and find better products. So before you can actually start your product research, you need to understand your own goals, your own budget, and then you can find the right product for you, because everyone has different requirements. Everyone has their own individual circumstances. So you need to write these down first so that when we go on to the product research, we can find the best possible product for you. What is a good product for me may not be a good fit for you, and vice versa. What is a good product for you is unlikely to be a good product for me. So the first thing we need to look at is your goals. So I've got 3 fields here that you can complete yourself. And these are your monthly goals. So this is the question I ask most people that come to me to talk about Amazon FBA. How much money do you want to make per month profit from your first product? Now, the most common answer is usually about £1,000 per month. Now, you may have your own goals. You might only want to make 500, or perhaps you want to really go at this aggressively and you want to make maybe £2,000 or £3,000 per month. But either way, we need to know your profit target. So in this instance, I'm just going to put a profit target as £1,000 per month, and then we can populate the other 2 fields off of that. The next thing is then your revenue target. So when you are analyzing a niche, you're going to be looking at the revenue figures. Now, I say the easiest way to do this is just multiply your profit target by 3. So very loosely speaking, your profit margin will be about 30% of your selling price. So if you multiply your profit by 3, that will give you your target revenue. So if you want to make £1,000 profit per month, then you're going to need to target a revenue of around about £3,000 per month. Now, once you've got those 2, we can then look at your sales targets. This is a number of units you need to sell per month. So the easiest way to do this is to take your revenue target, which in this case would have been £3,000, and divide it by 20. So where has 20 come from? Why have I just put in this random number and asked you to do some maths with it? Well, the reason I put 20 in is that is what I recommend as a minimum price point for new sellers. Whether you're VAT registered or not, if you're not VAT registered, you're going to become VAT registered eventually if things go well. So let's make sure we start off in the right place with a healthy price point, as in that is usually where you can make better margins and you can make more money. So if we take the £3,000 revenue example here, pop it into a calculator and then divide that by 20, we need to sell around 150 units per month. So it's very, very simple. Once you've done this once, it's so easy. So you want to make £1,000 per month. We're looking for products that have a sales revenue of around £3,000 per month, selling around 150 units per month. It's very, very straightforward. So once you have your goals, you can then start your product research and you can make sure the products you're looking at have the potential to meet those monthly goals that you have set. The next thing I've done is I've put together these initial checks. And the reason I've done this is there are quite a few things to look at in this document. But one of the keys to successful product research is being able to exclude products quickly and move on to the next opportunity to analyze. I don't want you to run through this entire document for every product you're looking at. I want you to do these initial checks. And if these don't stack up, knock that product on the head and look into the next opportunity available. So the initial checks, the 3 things I want you to look at initially. Number 1 is relevancy. Are the listings comparable, and is it the most relevant search term? So if you haven't chosen the correct search term, your analysis is going to be skewed. Now, if you're not sure how to find the right search term to analyze for a particular niche, at the end of this video, I'm going to link you to a step-by-step guide that you guys can follow. We also need to make sure all the listings are comparable. Sometimes Amazon will mix maybe non-relevant products into the search results, especially if it's a non-specific search term. So we need to check the relevancy first so that when we're doing the analysis, we can ensure that the data we're looking at applies to the products we are considering. You don't want to be analyzing data for products that aren't relevant to the type of product that you're actually looking at. The next thing is price point. I want to see a lot of existing proven demand. at that minimum £20 price point. If I see a niche full of sellers at the £10 to £15 price point, I'm just going to close it down and move on. And number 3, I want to see a minimum of 5 other private label sellers achieving similar revenue and sales goals. So in this instance, the revenue target was around £3,000 per month and the sales target was around 150 units per month. So I want to see preferably at least 5 other sellers. Now, this isn't an exact science, and if you saw 4 sellers or 3 sellers and a couple that were pretty close, that would be okay. I'm just trying to give you a base to work from, and you should apply this to this entire document. This is just a guide. There is no such thing as a perfect product. There is no product that's going to tick every single one of these boxes perfectly. It's about looking at all of these things together and then making the best informed decision you can. And the reason we want to see this, if we can see 5 other sellers achieving similar revenue, so around £3,000 and sales goals, maybe 150 units per month, we know there is proven existing demand at that price point and at that sales level. So we know if we go into this niche and we can get into similar ranked positions, we've got a good chance of achieving similar results. So this is what it's all about, looking for the existing evidence of demand and sales so that if we enter, we can also achieve those things. So if we pass all of those initial checks, then you can continue down throughout the rest of the document. If not, move on to the next opportunity. The next thing we like to check is seasonality. And this is extremely important as a lot of new sellers don't actually check this when they're looking at a product. And what can happen sometimes is they do their analysis in either peak season or in the low season. By the time they've placed their bulk order, those goods have arrived at Amazon. The seasons have changed, so either they're selling a lot less than they were hoping to, or demand is a lot higher and they don't have enough inventory to compete. So I usually recommend that new sellers avoid seasonal products, but most products will have an element of seasonality to them, and it's important you're aware of that and you can budget and you can plan your inventory accordingly. The most important thing is that you don't get a seasonal product and you analyze it at the wrong time and the sales don't match up to what you are expecting. Otherwise, that is a very quick path to failure. The next thing is brand domination. Ensure the niche is not dominated by known brands or AMZ, which are Amazon listings. I've got a max 5 in the top 15 organic listings. Don't pay any attention to the sponsored listings. We're only looking at organic. And the reason for that, if there's a lot of known brands in the top results, that could suggest that customers are buying based on brand and your small private label brand is never going to compete with them. And also a lot of AMZ listings, Amazon listings, they can be difficult to overtake. So I try to avoid niches where there's lots of them. If there's a few dotted about in the niche, that's not a problem. If there's a lot of them, then it is often a red flag for me. Next thing, majority of listings should be private label FBA listings, not FBM. So if you see a lot of FBM listings, it suggests one of two things. Either the product is quite big or heavy, which means it's too expensive for sellers to use FBA to do the fulfillment side of it for them, or there's an issue with Amazon not actually allowing you to store those goods in their warehouses, but you're still allowed to sell them. So if you do see a lot of FBM listings, often that can be a red flag. So be aware of that. The next piece is the size and weight of the packaged product. And this is something I've actually updated the guidance since last year's cheat sheet, because there has been a big change. So I still go with my standard recommendation, which is try to find something that falls under the standard parcel tier, which is maximum packaged product dimensions of 45 by 34 by 26 centimeters. And the reason we do this, if I take you over to the rate card, if we come down to the standard parcel tier here, you can see at 1.9 kilograms, it costs you £3.68. Now, if we go over this 1.9 kilogram in the standard parcel, we very quickly go up to £5.38. And if we go over the standard parcel dimensions and go into small oversize, we go straight up to £5.06, or if it's a standard oversize, £6. So if we can keep it in standard parcels at 1.9 kilograms or below, then a £3.68 fulfillment fee should work well with most products. If you jump up, you can see that is quite a substantial jump and that can really hit your profit margins. And the other addition this year is to check the dimensional weight. So this is a new metric that Amazon introduced. So they will base your fulfillment fee on either the actual weight of the product or the dimensional weight, whichever is the heaviest. So what this means is you have to take the width of the product, multiply it by the height and then the depth, all in centimeters, then divide it by 5,000. And if that final number is above the actual weight, that is the weight in kilograms that Amazon will use to charge you your fulfillment fee. So double check that when you're doing your product research. Now on to reviews, one of the most important things you probably think when you're doing your Amazon product research, and it is important, but it's not the be all and end all that reviews are made out to be by some of the people that teach about Amazon FBA. So I've just got 2 points I want you guys to consider. Number one, I want you to avoid niches with lots of products averaging 5 stars, which is 4.8 or above. 5-star products are difficult to compete with unless you have 5 stars as well. And it's very, very hard to maintain a score of 4.8 or above. It only takes one negative review every kind of 30 to 40 reviews to pull you below that average. So if there's lots of 5-star products in that niche, I would probably avoid it, as I know how difficult it can be to maintain 5 stars. And I also avoid niches where most of the products have 4-figure review counts. So if the majority of the products in the niche have thousands of reviews, that can suggest it's difficult to break into that niche. So those are the main things I look at with reviews. Now, if you see a niche where other sellers have got double-figure or 3-figure reviews, I don't really see that as a problem. The reviews are more important the more similar your product is to the existing products. If you are developing your product correctly, you've got something visually unique and you're offering a feature and benefit that the other products don't offer, then customers aren't just purely comparing you based on reviews, they're also comparing you based on the product itself. So the more similar you are to other products, the more important reviews are. The more unique your product is, the less important reviews are. And I've also got here other sellers. I want to see a minimum of 2 new private label listings launched in the past 12 months. Now, it doesn't have to be the past 12 months. It can be the past 18 months or maybe 2 years. We're just looking for evidence that new sellers have been successfully able to enter this niche and get ranked in the top maybe 15 to 20 organic results. It also applies to a minimum of 2 non-CN, so non-Chinese listings as well. If you see some GB sellers or maybe some US sellers or some German sellers in the search results, that often suggests that it is a good opportunity. If it's only CN listings, normally that means the price has been driven down so much, it's just not viable for anyone else other than the actual manufacturers themselves in China to compete in those niches. So those are the headline checks you do. If all of those stack up, so you've done your initial checks, and then if everything's good, you do your more advanced checks. Then if everything still checks up, then you want to check your profitability and your return on investment. Now, I'm not going to go into these in too much detail. These are basically formulas that you can use to calculate your profitability. I always recommend aiming for a minimum of 30% plus before PPC returns and storage, as they will eat into your profit. So it's important you start at 30% plus for your profit margin. And your return on investment, I used to aim for 100% return on investment as the minimum, but with increasing PPC costs and more competition than ever, I'm happy to aim for around 80% now. So that means if you invest £10, you're looking to make your £10 back plus another £8 profit on top. So that's why I set the ROI quite high, as it gives you a good buffer to work with that product. Then finally, if everything checks out, you're going to start thinking about your product development. And the most important thing to any product development is a visual selling point. How is your product going to visually stand out in the niche? It doesn't matter how good your product is. It could have the best materials. It could be the most premium product. But unless there is a visual thing in your main image pulling people's eyes to your listing and giving them a clear indicator that your product is superior and is offering greater perceived value. Remember, it only needs to be perceived value. It doesn't necessarily have to be better, but if a customer looks at that image and thinks your product is better, then there's a better chance that customer clicks on your listing and converts into a customer. That's why a visual selling point is so important. Always keep that in mind when you're developing your product. How are you going to visually stand out in the niche? And if all of those things check out, then hopefully you're onto a winning product. So like I say, this checklist is available for free for you guys to download. It is linked in the pinned top comment. It's a PDF download. There's no details to enter. You can just download it for free. I'll also put it in the description, or you can download it directly from FBAelite.com. Go to the resources section and you can see here I've updated that recently. Template product research checklist 3.0. And if you go into there, this video that I'm recording at the moment will replace the existing video. Then click the download button in the top right hand corner to download the PDF. Now, if you want to see that tutorial where I show you step by step how to find the very best search term to analyze for a particular niche, and also how I find products in the first place, I'm going to pop that video up now. It's the full tutorial, the exact step-by-step process that I showed my wife, and she used it to find her first product in the past couple of weeks. And I'll see you guys in that video.